Thank you for joining me for another quick hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn. With me today, I have Royce King, Don Oblazney, and Jonathan Gaev. The question I have for you, how do you jumpstart yourself when you're stuck? Royce, can you kick us off today, please?
I will, Robyn. I lean on others to help kickstart me. And by that, I don't mean that I'm giving away my responsibility for myself and my actions and my emotions, but I have a whole library of podcasts and books and devotionals that I lean on. And I will pull something off the shelf or out of Audible and just jumpstart my emotions because everything is a choice, and I can choose to be down and have my own pity party that no one joins, or I can choose to find the resources to pick myself up. And so I rely on an extensive library of things like that. Additionally, I love music, and I don't know who knows about the art of neuroscience, but music and tones can change our chemistry and our brain. And so I will turn on music to liven things up.
I like everything that Royce mentioned because I think it's all true. I think podcasts, music, very motivated devotionals, all awesome. When I hear that question though, I think, what's my why? You know, if I'm having a stuck moment, I think, okay, I look over a picture of my children, and I think, okay, I want them to be able to say, that's my dad. So how do I, make this day important so that my kids will someday say, hey, that's my dad, so I always go back to what's my why. And sometimes it's not just them. Sometimes it's something that's important to me as far as, making myself more prepared for the next thing. And sometimes that's just more of a spiritual thing. How do I, get in touch with that? So thank you.
Wow, these are good ideas. I'm adding to my list of things. Certainly one of the messages is we have to do more than one thing to get unstuck. There's no silver bullet. I find that I have to create some kind of feedback in order to get unstuck. So I take some of the things that you do, Royce, of talking to others if I have something specific, but I start with communicating with myself. I usually find I have to draw something, like with pen and paper, kind of draw what the problem looks like or what the issues are. And then sometimes I have to write. I might create a crude outline, even if some of the areas that I don't know are very vague, but I try to write what I do know about the problem or about the situation, but I emphasize I actually write it and then look at it. I try to look at the two extremes of a solution. A lot of times if I have a problem I'm solving, I can see two ends. I might not like either of them, but that's the starting point to think, how do I get from one point to the other? What are the issues that get me from one solution to another? And walking. I find I think of something, I walk, I always have a pen and paper with me, and I might be walking and then an idea will come to me. And frankly, even at night, I keep paper and pen next to my bed so that if I wake up at 3 a.m. with some brilliant idea, I scribble it down. I have about a 50% ability to read that note the next morning, but at least it's something. I find coming back to something the next day and forcing myself to try to make even a tiny progress every day, that helps me.
I know for me, the first thing I have to do is notice that I'm stuck, because there's a lot of times where I'll be spinning my wheels and it takes me a minute to realize, wait a minute, I'm not making progress here. This is not working. And I love the point you made there, Jonathan, about sometimes you just have to walk away. Just step away from it for a minute. Give your brain a break. The idea that great ideas happen in the shower is for a reason. It's because that's the time when you shut off your prefrontal cortex and it's not so noisy, and your subconscious brain has a chance to say, oh, hey, I have an idea. Can you listen to me for a second? So anything that can allow you to step away from it, whether it's going for a walk or taking a shower. But for me, I got to notice first.
No, that's very true. I was an engineering manager for a long time, and that would be one of the things I would have to say to the engineer, you know, you're stuck. You keep talking about the same problem, or we're not getting anywhere. And you're right. Sometimes the very person who was working so hard to solve the problem wouldn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. So that begs the question, how do you notice if you're stuck?
I like what Jonathan said. I too enjoy walking, and I notice I'm stuck when it's not coming easily. And I will get up from my desk and get some fresh air, and that always helps.
I think that awareness, whenever I see myself focusing on something more than 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then I'm not making progress. I try to ask myself, is this important? Do I need to keep on doing this? Because we only have so much time in the day. And I think scheduling things, so a next meeting comes up, it helps me realize, okay, I just went a half hour and didn't accomplish my goal for that last half hour. I need to figure out, can this be delegated or done some other way, because maybe I'm not looking at this the right way.
I do something like that, Don. I have a list of things that I want to do each day. I try to get more reasonable about making that list, by the way. If I notice I have to carry something over from one day to the next, eventually I'll get tired of writing it. I actually physically write out the list, and I'll say, why can't I get this off my list? Why do I keep coming back to it? And that would be my first hint that I'm stuck with something.
Yeah, I have a 3 times rule. Something's allowed to move from one list to the next one 3 times before I'm like, okay, what's the deal? Am I going to do it, or am I going to delegate it, or am I going to decide it doesn't need to be done? Because those are your 3 options once it's been moved 3 times.
Oh, I like that.
That's what I do. But I think for me, when I have to figure out, am I stuck or am I procrastinating? I think that there's a difference between the two of them. And sometimes I make up that I'm stuck when in reality, I just don't want to do it. So I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point.
So telling the difference, because I'm always up for going for a walk as opposed to doing something I don't want to do. So how do you notice when I'm stuck, I need to take a break, I need to give my prefrontal cortex time to get out of the way so my subconscious brain can think about it. Go take a nap. I have a client who he's like, I go take a nap. I'm like, oh, I love naps. And when is it procrastination?
I think we know. I think there's a little voice in our head that says, you're procrastinating on this. You need to do this. And whether I'm going for a walk and reflecting on it, or I'm just looking at the computer screen, whatever it may be, there's a little voice in my head that takes me back to when I was in grade school, and I'm thinking, do I do this homework now, or do I do it later? Do I watch Gilligan's Island? So there's a little voice, thankfully, inside my head that tells me.
I think that's why I write things down. Then I see that I've come back to it. Most of the things I write down, I put a date on it.
Oh. So,
the last date that I touched it, and then if I go to update it and I say, wait a minute, I haven't touched this for a week. What am I doing here? Am I really working on this thing? Then that's a reminder for me.
Interesting. Royce, how do you tell the difference between procrastination and actually being stuck?
I've never been one to procrastinate on much of anything. There are a few areas where I can say there are exceptions, of course, but I am not a procrastinator. I was once hired on for a consulting role because the board said, we can tell Royce gets, S done. And that were their words in the board meeting. So that's what got me hired.
Nice. Nice. I definitely feel like when it comes to being stuck, it's one of those things that when you notice it, that's when you need to take action on it. Like then, don't wait. Because if you do, then it can become procrastination, because you end up in this space where I don't know what to do. So I'm not doing anything. And therefore I'm not going to go back to it because I don't know what to do. And you end up in a cycle, I think.
I think that's where your 3-time rule can help.
I think so too. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. I like that.
There you go.
That's really, really great. So yeah, I appreciate you having this conversation with me about being stuck. I think that it is something that all of us it happens to all of us periodically, and knowing how to get out of your own way and get unstuck is a huge part of being successful. So thank you so much. That is our 10 minutes, and I look forward to talking to each of you again very soon.
You're welcome.
Thank you.